Hi everyone, it's Miss Brown and I'm back for day 3 of our lesson on figurative language and fiction as well as cause and effect and plot. We're going to introduce that a little bit today. So without further ado, I will share my screen with you and we can get started. Okay. So day 3, the impact of figurative language and cause and effect on plot. So today we will identify and analyze figurative language in short examples of text, and we'll also identify cause and effect relationships in a story and connect them back to the plot. Our materials that we'll need today will be a notebook and a pencil. All right, this is just a quick recap of our notes that we've been using this week. So you already have vocabulary cards. I won't go over them in detail, but just remember that figurative language is when you use a word or phrase that does not have its normal everyday literal meaning. And these are the different types of figurative language that we've gone over this week. Again, you have your cards and you'll also have access to these slides. Plot is a series of events that make up a story, and these are the elements of plot: the exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. We will make references to that today and tomorrow, okay? Okay, so for our guided practice, we have a short story. I'll read it to you. As I read it, I want you to just kind of look and listen out for different types of figurative language that are being used in this story. And then on the next slide, you'll answer some questions, okay? So it's called A Day on the River. Tyre had never been in a canoe before. She was a bit nervous. She had butterflies in her stomach as she stepped into the small boat. Her friend Octavia got in the canoe behind her and they pushed off from the shore. Splash! The sound of Octavia's paddle startled Tyre at first. Both girls laughed and started down the river. After a bit, Tyre was glad that she had decided to come on the canoe trip. She was having a great time. The river seemed to laugh as it bubbled over rocks, and the birds swooped and dove like miniature airplanes as they chased after bugs to eat. This day is positively picture perfect, Octavia said as they glided through the water. Tyre replied, "It sure is. Are you getting hungry? I just saw a sign for an ice cream stand up ahead." The girls stopped in and each got an ice cream cone. They were the biggest cones in the world. The ice cream was a mountain sitting on top of the cone with syrup cascading in a waterfall down the side. Octavia and Tyre looked at each other and laughed. "I sure am glad you're hungry," Octavia said. Now, again, you're going to write an example of a simile from that text, an example of metaphor, an example of a personification, an example of a hyperbole, an example of alliteration, and an example of an onomatopoeia in the text. So I'll give you a few minutes. I would pause here and just go back to the text and, write down my examples in the notebook. Okay, you should have had time to do that. So you should have already unpaused the video. Here are my examples of figurative language. Again, there are some examples that you may find that I didn't highlight, so I'll go over one or two of those as well. My first example is she had butterflies in her stomach. That is a hyperbole. So you cannot literally have butterflies in your stomach. It just shows how nervous she actually was. Okay, splash is an example of onomatopoeia because when you make that splash sound, it's spelled the way that it sounds. Um, I did not highlight this, but it says the river seemed to laugh. That is an example of personification because the river is not human, so it can't technically laugh. But they're saying, they're describing it as though it's human. So if you've written that down, that is correct. That's personification. Okay, the birds swooped and dove like miniature airplanes. That is an example of a simile. It's using the word like to compare how the birds swooped and dove. They're comparing it to the airplanes. Positively picture perfect is an example of alliteration because the p sound is being repeated throughout that sentence. The biggest cones in the world, again, that's a bit of an exaggeration, so that would be a hyperbole, okay? And then the ice cream was a mountain. That is an example of a metaphor. We're comparing the ice cream size to that of a mountain, but we're not using like or as. Okay, for our independent practice, you're going to click on the first link and you're going to watch a short film. Again, the links have been provided for you, so I want you to click on the link, watch the film. We're not going to do it here, but I want you to do it. And then you're going to click on the questions and answer those questions after you have watched the video, okay? So these are the questions. Again, they address figurative language, but they also address cause and effect in the video. So you have to watch the video to understand the different causes and effects, as well as to understand the figurative language that's being used. So I would pause the video here, click on the link, watch the video, and then click on the questions and complete the questions. And then when you're done, your answer key for that same video is here. So you would click on the second link and you would answer the questions. And again, all these go in your notebook. But again, I want you to watch that video first, because that video is going to be, it's a very good video. I think you guys will enjoy it. Okay. So all of your links are attached to the slide. All right, for our written reflection, you're going to read the story starter below, and then you'll complete the story using 5 examples of figurative language. And it could be any 5 examples that you choose. Again, you have those cards, so look through your cards and try to come up with 5 different examples. Maybe choose some that you haven't used this week in your example, okay? So again, you're also going to show cause and effect of the events that take place in the story. So this is the story starter. The roller coaster had stopped and we were left upside down. In your notebooks, finish the story using 5 examples of figurative language and remember to show cause and effect of the event. And of course, for your independent reading lesson, you're going to either read a novel or short news article of your choice for at least 20 minutes. And then you're going to try to find at least 1 to 2 examples of figurative language that are being used in whatever reading selection you've chosen. Okay, that is our lesson for today. Now remember, all of your links have been included. So the video link, the answer key link, and the question links, they're all included in the lesson and in the slides. So please make reference to the slides this week as you watch those video lessons, because you will have one more lesson that includes a video. And so that's pretty much it for today. I will see you guys tomorrow, where we'll do a continuation of this lesson. Again, there is a video clip attached to tomorrow's slides as well. So be prepared to go to your slides and click those videos. Thank you, and I will see you all tomorrow.